Well, here you are, here I am, and you guys know what time it is. And I'm not even going to go to the uninitiated bit, but starting off, it's been a bit of an emotionally charged, bittersweet, bizarre week for me, and it's not quite over yet. Um, as I lost a brother from another mother last week, and real close friend of mine. We grew up like he grew up in a house behind mine, back in West Oak Lane. And during the Philly scene, when I was still like my second or third year breaking in, we used to be on the road together and everything. Like we was running buddies and all that good stuff. But like I said, I lost him last Sunday afternoon. So I'm going to dedicate this week's column to my boy William Page III, who passed away from complications from. I'm just finding out that it was complications from. I can't even say it right about now, but I guess it really doesn't matter right now either way. But he's better off where he is right now. And Willie, or shall I say Billy, if you hear this, man. You see my father, my cousin, the rest of those cats up there. Tell them I said what's up, and I will see you later. Anyway, moving right along. For those of you who were catching the three-parter, it was unintentional. I'm really trying not to make it a fourth. We're talking about and we talked about it on Top of Radio the other night, me and Johnny Logan, about the whole thing about professional wrestling versus backyard. You can hit that a whole different ways, and we try to condense that in a half hour, which is kind of a tough thing to do, but we managed to pull it off. It's pretty much what you want to call one of those pink elephants that you don't talk about in our sport, and I do consider it a sport. Although credibility here and there is slipping, people don't take it seriously. Let's face it, folks. For better or for worse, backyarding is here to stay, and I made my stance on it. Guys, if you're going to do it, get some instructions somewhere else if you're going to pursue it. Get some coaching somewhere if you're going to go back into it, and pass the knowledge down. That's what it's about. Pass that down. Pass down the right information. That way, nobody's not getting hurt. You got safety measures. I mean, look, you can go to Borders. You can find Wrestling for Dummies in the daggone sports section, for God's sakes. Okay? It's in there. Les Thatcher and Harley Race put it in there. If you want to learn this stuff, it's in there. You even got regular wrestling drills in there. It's in there. Anything on grappling, you can find at a bookstore. You can find it online. But, I mean, it's no real substitute for the actual thing. But if you can't track anybody down, at least try to figure that part out. You sussed out the rest. I'm just saying. Now, going back to the other side and going back into wrestling itself. You even have cats that break in. And granted, you're going to have some schools that really aren't schools, because you have dudes who really have no scruples. And that kind of set off that whole thing there too. They have no scruples. They just take your money. They'll show you a few things and they'll split. And it just leave you sit up there like totally shocked, assed out, confused, and Lord knows what else. And that's a good reason to embitter somebody to want to resort to that whole bit anyway. It happens. And not all wrestlers are like that. They're not. Not all promotions are like that. Not all schools are like that. The legit ones who've been around, they might charge an arm and leg, but there's a reason for that. Okay? If you go back in the day, let's put it like this. Shaolin Temple, good example. Perfect analogy. Go to Shaolin Temple. Not everybody's going to make it through. The Chinese have a saying. It's called eating bitter. It ain't going to come easy. You judge by how much bitter you can eat and how much can you deal with and still drive on. You suck it up. And the weeding out process is simple. Either you stay around and you do something despicable enough to where the council on the Shaolin Temple will let you go, or you just die. Here, you got a little bit easier. You put your money down, and there have been legit schools where guys put that whole down payment on there and expect to get paid and expect to get special treatment. No. even if you paid the whole thing off, you still got to turn around and go through the process and get what you paid for. Get what you paid for. Don't cheat yourself. Don't waste your time. Don't waste the other trainees' time. And above all, don't waste the instructor's time. Because now you're a detriment. You're a liability. You know, you can sit up there and say, well, I paid my whole thing. So what? You still, even if you put that down payment down up front, you still got to pay your dues and you still got to train like everybody else. You don't get special treatment. It doesn't work that way. I don't care who you are. It doesn't work. You know? I mean, okay, you guys noticed the hoodie fit gym. This is the gym I go to. If you saw some of the footage I have with the clubs, Little Bam Bam and Little Bam Bam Jr. and Ballpoint, this is the gym I've been going to for 8 years. And see, here's the thing. The manager will call me up if he ain't hear from me in a minute. If I've been out for about 2 months, I'm going to get a call. Otherwise, I put the money down, my monthly memberships and everything. I might miss a couple of days, but you better believe at least 1 or 2 days out the week, I'm showing up and they see me putting it in. One way or the other. I've been doing this 8 years and change. 8 years and change. Okay? This is where I earned the name Black Magic. Because one of the trainers there, my coach, he gave me that name. I didn't make it up. No. I earned that name. Seriously. But that's where it came from. And they got a couple of names. You can put the pictures up and everything. They just put some new slogans up on the wall in the bottom section where all the hardcore bodybuilders are. And it says, go hard or go home. Or on the other side, less rap, more rep. Either or. You put your time in. You put it in. You don't play around. You don't waste nobody else's time. You don't cheat yourself. Plain and simple. Some people are going to do it anyway. And that's in any sport. It's not just wrestling. Okay? Any darn fool can turn around and go to Modell's or whatever and get a basketball. Okay? There's a difference between playing basketball and being a basketball player. You know? Now, you can be on a team somewhere, either in school or the neighborhood or something like that, or you running ball on the court. That's running ball on the court. Doesn't make you a basketball player. You just play ball. You running ball. It's under a different set of rules. You can get 2 sets of doggone 10-ounce gloves and try and duke it out. Doesn't mean you're a boxer. You take your ass down to a boxing gym and learn. Have somebody coach you. Learn how to throw a jab. There is a science to a jab. It's more than just throwing your hands and hitting something. There is a science to throwing a jab. There is a science to throwing a kick. There is a science to doing the takedown. There is a science to putting on a hold. It's all mechanics. If you can't figure it out, you're not going to get it right. And if you don't hurt yourself, you're going to hurt somebody else. If not, you're going to hurt both of you if you don't get it right. That's what they were trying to drive at with the whole thing with the backyard and everything. You cannot proclaim yourself to be this if no one is guiding you. And you figure it's more than just what you see on television and say, okay, oh, I can do that. Okay, if you did it the first few times and didn't get hurt, all right, you got lucky. You may have some athletic ability. You may have some potential. You may be a natural athlete. That's fine. But nobody's guiding you. Okay? You have to drill these things over and over and over again. It doesn't come by osmosis. Okay? And I think I said this last week. Just because Luke Skywalker had his hands on a lightsaber didn't make him a Jedi Knight. Okay? He didn't start becoming a Jedi until Obi-Wan started training him and became a Padawan. You have to have somebody put you in that right spot to guide you until you get to that next step. You know, you got guys that go on the basic training in the police academy and they wash out before the 8 or 9 weeks or the 10 weeks are over. Now, if you washed out, you're not a soldier because you didn't graduate. Same thing with a wrestling school. You didn't graduate, you're not a wrestler. You don't make that decision. Whoever's training you makes that decision. And then you go on to the next step. And there are finishing schools in wrestling. I believe I mentioned the Monster Factory. Because that way you got the hookups to go into that next level for the promotions that'll put you there. And they'll get you ready for working, you know, in front of a camera, not just work in front of a crowd. Yeah, I said it. but that's how it works. But you won't know this unless you go through the process. There are channels you have to go through. I don't care if this is your backyard or if you're over in the Indies already. There are channels to this. That's the bottom line. And this is what pisses off a lot of the vets. The ones who've been there. It's a slap in the face to them, especially the ones who have more credibility that may have had a background before they decide to break into the wrestling business. A lot of people don't quite get that. But I'm going to close it out, and I think I finished my rant. So, shout out to my peoples. Johnny Logan, my boy out in Nevada, Las Vegas. Mr. Graves in Carson City. Bad Blood out and over in California. Mr. Nick the Sickness in Arizona. Miss Holly, I believe you just made the move to the East Coast. Congratulations. Glad you made it in one piece. Good going. Bobby Sanford, the Chocolate Chop, Mr. Marcus Gibbs, down in representing the Southeast over in Florida. My peoples in Georgia. Ghetto Blaster wherever you are. Blade Walker, Scotty Bullwinkle. Over in Kentucky, or should I say in Tennessee, I stand corrected. I'm talking about Mr. Luscious Bob Geary and Lady Amazon out in the Midwest representing for Vanguard, I believe it is. Correct me if I'm wrong, brother. I don't want to get that whole thing twisted. Mr. Atlas J. Horn. And going further over to the Eastern Shore, and some points in between that before you get to Philadelphia, I'm talking about my Maximum Championship alumni and members of Power Pro Wrestling. Talking about Mr. Massive Mike, Chuck the Ref, E.L. Stanley, and the bodies collectively known as D-Line. I'm talking about Body Snatcher and Black Ice. Chris Nightmare, Adam Ugly, Jimmy Dream, Trina Stratus, Aiken Pembroke, THC, also known as the Hellcats, Grey Wolf, Haroof. My people over in Jersey, the Mid-Atlantic Wrestling Alliance. Of course, Devastation U and Doc Diamond. Elite Generation Wrestling, who I'll be seeing in a couple of weeks over in Tamaqua, PA. The 215 Empire, my boy, Mr. Xavier Fate. And going over to Western Europe and the UK, Power Trip Wrestling's PT Player, PT Staniforth, Teetotaler Tommy Stevens, The Milkshake, The Ginger Snap, Drewy, Woo, Craig Gunner, Zizou Madu, Tony Allen, one of England's dirtiest referees, officials, as it were. Rest of my people over there. Over in Belgium for Flemish Wrestling Force, Robin, Laurie, Tommy, Homeless, and actually by Tommy I meant Homeless, my bad. Gangrene, Rob Raw. I know you guys had fun over in Legends Tour. Sorry I couldn't be there. I was there in spirit though. Glad you had fun, guys. Who am I forgetting? Oh gosh, Thorax, Jack Demento. Over in Holland, Destructo, Uncle Vito Il Villatore Toscani, Tommy and Mr. Zeus, collectively known as the Sumerian Death Squad, Rico Bushido, Twan, and Hots. And for my people over in the Great Britain area, I forgot. The Singing Dads. We're gonna put you over. And as I keep the beat, because even though it's in the Bangra bit, I can do that sort of thing. Anyway, over to my people over in Germany, who I missed this past weekend. I had some family business I had to take care of. I'm still working on it. Craig BC, Susie's, Silvana, Katrin, Kathy, Sandra, Maddie, the Pro Wrestling Eve crew, including Mina, Yeni, and of course Alpha Female. I gotta catch that match. I know I missed it. Top Catch and Andrea Bobic, Rick the Voice Valentine, AWM, and MC Logan, and the rest of you guys I may have missed. But on that note, I will catch you guys on the flip side, and I'll catch you next week for another fun-filled episode of The Other Side of the Ropes. Incense. This is Red, and as always, it's always been real. I'll catch you guys next week.